Now let's create an alert very similar to a job, but I want to show you how these all kind of fit together here, and alerts really bring them together. An alert is where I want SQL Server to basically police itself and tell me when there's a problem of some kind, okay? So the way to kick off an alert, now keep in mind I already have created an operator called mark and a job called mark's job, which backs up two databases, okay? Well, now I want to create an alert. I right-click on Alerts under SQL Server Agent and choose New Alert. Okay, and I will call this Mark's Trends Log Alert because I want to watch a transaction log. Now notice the choices that I have here. Let me bring this up. First of all, the on-off switch for enable and disable, hang on to that. Okay, we'll talk about that in a few minutes. I can choose to do a SQL Server event alert, a performance condition alert, or a WMI event alert, okay? The SQL Server event alert, notice if I choose that, I can point to a particular database, for example, sales, and I can tell it to cause an alert to be raised if a certain severity level happens, okay? And let's say I have insufficient resources. If that happens, then I want to raise an alert, okay? And I can say it, just raise an alert when a certain message contains a particular word or text. Or I can do it based on a certain error number. Or I can do a performance condition alert. And this is the one you'll see a lot of times. And notice you will see these object encounters just like you see out in the performance monitor. So let's do an object here. And notice we'll scroll down and notice I am in my database here. I'm in the MS SQL Mark database. And let's see, what do I want to look at? Let's look at the database. And the counter that I want to look at is the percent log used. So the percentage of the log file that's used. Now, what instance? Let's get Mark. You'll notice the things I have to choose from. I'm sorry, sales. Okay. Then let's alert. I want to be alerted if this counter rises above 70%. Now, you'll have to toy with this a little bit to make sure that you're in line with the way the counters read out in the performance monitor. But basically what's going to happen, this thing's going to watch my percent log used counter on the on the sales database, and if it gets out of whack, it's going to alert me. Now, what's the response going to be? When it jumps above 70, what do I want it to do? I want it to execute a job. Which job? Click on this. Notice Browse for Agent Jobs. There's my Mark's job that I created, and I say OK. So when this runs, it's going to back up my database. It's not really the exact real-world action you want to take. Really what I want to do is back up and truncate those transaction logs, but for now I've got that other job out there, so we'll just use it. Notice that if I said here, you know what, this really doesn't do what I need, I can create a new job from right here. Okay, this is the same thing as right-clicking on jobs out in the Object Explorer. Kind of cool, huh? Then I can actually view the job and see what's going on in that job to see if it's the one I actually do want to use, okay? Then I can say, notify some operators, net send Mark, and let him know. I can also view that operator, see his schedule, his or her schedule, see what's going on there. Or I can say, you know what, I don't want to do it. There's Jamie. I need to send it to Jamie over in accounting, so I can set up a new operator. I can set one up for Jamie there. Then I can set options on this. I can include in my alert text in my net send. I can put this is in response to transaction log alert. Now this tells me whoever receives this that hey, the transaction log alert was fired, and I could even write some more text in here about it exceeded 75% or 70% or whatever. Now this next one is huge. Delay between responses. I need to set this up to like 10 minutes or so, because what happens is once I cross 70%, every time it polls and sees it over 70% again, it's going to kick out a new alert. So what happens is I create my own basic denial of service attack, if you will, because now my SQL Server goes into this mode of just executing and issuing alerts just constantly. So I want to give myself enough time between responses to let this thing handle it. Okay, also keep in mind now, once this alert starts firing, I probably want to call someone or get into the office as soon as I can, come in here, open this, and disable this alert. I know the condition exists. I need to disable the alert to stop it from happening. Okay, and so notice I've now created an alert. The alert is out there and it's ready to go. Notice on the alerts, I can right-click the alert and disable it. I actually don't even have to go in there. Okay, another thing I can do, if I've got a bunch of alerts set up and something really goes wild and we have one of those Houston we got a problem incidents and every alert in here is firing and sending off information, I can right-click alerts at the folder level and disable all the alerts. Okay, notice I've disabled them all. And you can see the red arrow here telling me that's been disabled, and I can come back and enable it later. Okay, lots of things you can do with alerts here. Work with them in conjunction with jobs and operators, and it's tremendous the amount of administrative capabilities you can give this thing, and it can babysit itself without you having to hold its hand and stroke it all night long. Okay, so there's how to use an alert.